More Texas voters of all ages say they're worried about the path Texas is on. New polling from the nonpartisan nonprofit group Texas 2036 found 93% of Texas voters expressed concern about the state's future. 38% said they're extremely concerned. That's up from 25% this time last year. The concern cuts across party lines, but the poll also found common ground for potential policy solutions in areas like education, healthcare, and public safety. For Insight, we're joined by Hryhorchuk, the Senior Vice President for Policy and Advocacy for Texas 2036. Welcome.
Good to be here.
All right, well, we've heard and seen the divisions over policy in Texas, but your poll found some areas where Texans agree on what needs to be done.
Yes, so our poll found that 90% of Texans, more than 90%, are concerned about the state's future. And while that's a very high number, that is shared pretty evenly by Republicans and Democrats. What's interesting about it is they also agree not just on concern, but solutions. So when we look at things like education, water, criminal justice, workforce training, these big things out there that the legislature can address next session, a lot of these things, 80% of Texans are ready to support.
And part of the poll focused on policies to improve education, as you mentioned, and workforce development. What stood out there mostly to you?
Well, when we asked Texans how they wanted to spend the budget surplus, it was very clear. Number one on their list was public education. They want to pay teachers more, both across the board and merit-based teacher pay. They support an assessment accountability system that allows for transparency in how those dollars are being spent. And they want to make sure that we're investing in workforce training that results in good paying job for Texans.
What about in regard to healthcare?
On healthcare, one of the things that really came clear in our data is how people are making choices about their finances, and the lack of knowledge about final pricing is causing a lot of Texans not to seek the care that they need. So it's about a third of Texans have skipped care because they did not know the cost, and this is exceptionally high among moms, where about half of Texas moms, because they did not know what the final cost of that care would be, chose not to get care.
Where do Texans agree when it comes to public safety?
On public safety, Texans trust their police, but they agree that there are transparency measures and additional efforts that can be made to stop having dishonorably discharged police officers rehired in other jurisdictions that are, again, overwhelmingly supported by 80+% of Texans.
Well, you know, we're coming up on a legislative session. What needs to happen to reach some of these goals in the session?
You know, obviously there's going to be an election on November 8th, and our goal is to make sure that as legislators prepare for January and that session, they know that there is a broad basis civic demand to go after these meat and potatoes governance issues that are going to improve the lives for everyone as we approach our bicentennial.
Some of the people who are watching our program might not have heard about your group. Tell us a little bit about what your achievements and your accomplishments and what you're hoping to do with the group in the future.
Well, Texas 2036 is a nonpartisan think tank that seeks to use data rather than ideology to tackle some of the biggest challenges facing our state as we approach our bicentennial in 2036. So our goal is to make sure that legislators have data-driven solutions available so when they show up, they can pass reforms that can benefit 30 million Texans.
Hryhorchuk, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.